Striving for redundancy is not the same thing as trying to put yourself out of work. I'd like to introduce you to the concept of the shuffle chain. You'll really know you need this if you go from boom to bust, usually driven by hiring a really great staff member, and I mean a really, really great staff member, and then he gets tired, he leaves, and you're in bust again. This is the pattern of the key man business. The business that's relying on key man, the man who does everything, drives it forward. It starts by making a really great hire. You hire a really good person, like somebody actually really on the ball, and they start to drive your business and you get results, better results and better results and better results, and you start to rely on them completely. Trouble is, you rely on them so much that they can't go anywhere, they can't be promoted, they soon get tired of the fact they're in a cave, they're suffering from suction, stuck in the mud, basically, and so they leave. And your business goes. The shuffle chain is the antidote. It's the key to your business climbing up and up and up under constant pressure, rather than seesawing back and forth between good years and bad years, oscillating over a number of years, strange enough, picking good staff, losing good staff. The key to this, the antidote to this, is the shuffle chain. And the shuffle chain is a cultural management technique. It's a cultural revolution. It's a really great strategy, but like any good strategy, it only works if you change the culture underneath as well. If you see the Happy Managers video on culture versus strategy, you'll get what I mean. Your culture's got to support your strategy. Well, the shuffle chain is a cultural strategy that's designed to drive your business forward. It really is the antidote to key man syndrome. The shuffle chain is the cultural way to get the best out of your staff, all of your staff, and use those really brilliant staff to pull all the rest forward and up. Lift the whole company. Now, I have to say, key man strategies are really more default cultures than default strategies. I mean, who in their right mind would create a strategy that yo-yos you back and forth, that creates reliance on one person and therefore no resilience in the company, that creates a situation where that one person has nowhere to go except eventually out? It's not a great strategy, right? So it tends to be the default culture that evolves around getting really good staff. And I get it, it's really easy to do. It's very, very easy to create a key man culture. All you really need to do is get a star, but beware, there's a trap in there. Getting good staff is hard, and when you get a good one and they really start to drive your business forward, it's easy to fall into the trap. It's easy to milk the golden goose. Be careful of that golden goose. So, I suggest the very first thing you ask your star candidate, your key man, once he starts to show that real golden goose potential, is this simple question. So what's your plan? How are you going to replicate or replace yourself in the next 3 years? Where are you going and how are you going to get there? How are you going to backfill? What is the colour of your parachute? Right there in that question, and the answers that come out of that question, is why you need to know about the shuffle chain and planning for redundancy. Imagine a company where every employee is ambitious and driven and they've got their eyes on their boss's job. Not only just with ambition, but they're starting to behave in the manner and at the level of their boss, that they're starting to do his job. And the boss is starting to do his boss's job, starting to take on some of the requirements, starting to quiz them about how do you do this, how do you do that. It's upskilling. Just as ambitious. Imagine the whole company like that in this massive great shuffle chain. Imagine the impact that would have on your culture. Anybody want to say the word engagement? Whenever I take over a new team, the very first thing I do is look for those that are very ambitious in that team. The ones that could potentially be looking for my job. Not to protect myself from them, but actually to encourage them. To encourage them to sort of like have an eye on my job and make it a very open conversation. I then start coaching and mentoring, trying to get them to come up to speed so they have actually a chance of taking my job off me. I explain to them the whole concept of suction, of being stuck in the mud, of if they want my job, they've not only got to come up to the level of being able to do my job, but they've got to be able to get somebody else below them, preferably more than one because you've got to have options, right, that are up to the level of doing their job, or they're going to suffer from suction. If they want to meet their ambitions and get ahead, they need to coach and mentor and identify their own targets for their own redundancy. I teach them to identify encourage, coach and mentor their own staff. Teach them to light the fire under that ambition, to get those own staff wanting to push them out of the way, preferably up and out of the way. Now this process creates a massive shuffle chain. As far down the chain as I need to go, I have people that are ambitious, learning their boss's job, wanting to step in, and it also creates resiliency. It creates a whole lot of people that know how to do the job next up. I, for instance, if I'm sick, have 2 or preferably 3 people that could step in and do my job, and I encourage that to happen whenever I need time out. I actually have a little bit of a mantra that I tend to bounce around the office, and that's that what I really want to do is coach people to do my job so I can go and sit on a beach. I encourage the concept that maybe I'm a little bit lazy, that maybe I'm a little bit susceptible to somebody else coming up and wanting my job. What it does is it gets people excited and motivated, and also it gives them the opportunity to practice, to be upskilled, to do it under guidance and mentoring, and be capable of fulfilling my job and filling my boots. Now, we talk about in other videos about how happiness is the real gauge of engagement. The happier your staff are, the more they are engaged. And engaging and being happy about driving the strategy of the company forward is one thing, and a very achievable thing, I've got to say. But there's nothing like the personal goals, the personal direction, the personal strategy. So creating an ambitious environment where people can see how the company moving forward is going to build a strategy and pull them with it, and where they can go and how they can go forward, that creates that whole dream, that whole vision. Strange enough, that whole engagement. And along the line, it also creates a competitive environment. It also allows you to train and encourage people within and hire and move forward on aptitude. It also brings in that people filling roles are the ones that already know how to do it, are already functioning there, and have the drive and desire to do it. All of the elements you want for a perfect culture, a perfect company that's working properly. Why isn't everybody doing the shuffle chain? By doing one small thing, you have managed to create a resilient, happy, engaged, driven, probably, because of all the above, very successful company. And that one thing is simply coaching and mentoring your staff to do better than you can, to be ambitious and try and push you out of the way. So finally, when I talk about the shuffle chain, you should think, oh my God, to be successfully redundant.